Research and recording of Canadian Creepies happens on the shared land and traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties. A key treaty governing this territory is the Dish with One Spoon Agreement. The treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee people binds them to share and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, settlers, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. We all share the responsibility of ensuring the dish is never empty, meaning we must take care of the land and the creatures we share it with. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Canadian Creepies Podcast. I'm Allie.
And I'm Valerie. Today we're diving into one of the most bizarre and unsettling tales from Alberta's history.
That's right, we're talking about Kelvin Maure, better known as the Alberta Moleman. This guy wasn't just an average Joe. His obsession with tunneling and underground living turned into a dark and friggin' twisted story that shocked the province.
What drove him to live like a human mole? I really want to know that.
I love moles.
And how,
not this guy, though.
And how did this peculiar lifestyle unravel into a story of crime, danger, and mystery?
Are you ready? Because we're going to take you underground, literally and figuratively, for this wild case. So grab a flashlight and prepare to dig into the story of Kelvin Maure.
Let's get creepy, Canada.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. How you doing?
Good, very, very good. I really do love moles. I've seen like maybe a handful of them in my lifetime out in the garden or in the orchards. They're friggin' cute, but this guy probably isn't.
Kyle and I were playing Mario Party at a friend's the other day.
Mario time!
Oh, yeah.
And there's a character, Monty Mole.
Monty Mole.
And he's always slapping his belly. Oh, that's so cute.
He's so cute.
Everybody's like, Monty Mole.
Yeah.
It was very cute.
How was that? Wasn't that a tournament?
It was not a tournament. We
played. I thought it was.
We played
okay.
We sort of played like on teams a little bit because there wasn't. It was very fun.
Very fun.
Most enjoyable.
Richard's here. Daisy's here. Everyone say hi. Hi.
Richard goes meow.
Yeah. Meow.
That would be the best.
And Daisy's tail is just like. Very nice.
That's nice. Good. Okay, so we're talking about Kelvin Maure, and fun fact, if I do say Kevin instead of Kelvin, that is in fact because in my notes I wrote Kevin, and then double checked and realized it was Kelvin.
I want to name him Kelvin. No, I want to name him Melvin.
Let's
meet in the middle. Kelvin.
What's the quote from Mean Girls?
Anthony
and Anthony.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the principal.
Yeah. I'll clip it.
Her name is Caddy Heron. Where are you, Caddy?
That's me. It's pronounced like Katie.
My apologies. I have a nephew named Anthony, and I know how mad he gets when I call him Anthony. Almost as mad as I get when I think about the fact that my sister named him Anthony.
Okay, so we are talking about Kelvin Maure. His name is Kelvin, not Kevin. He is a Parkland County man, and he was sentenced to 6 years in prison after an investigation by National Security Police and has been found guilty of possessing child pornography.
Ugh, God, I'm like, underground tunnels, CP, did he know friggin' Diddy or what?
Yeah. Diddy was just like in Kelvin's mole holes.
Yeah, oh God, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's awful. So Parkland County is a municipal district in central Alberta. It's located west of Edmonton, north of the town Stony Plain on Highway 779. Have you ever been to Alberta?
Never been to Alberta.
Me
I'm
either.
the worst Canadian in that case. Like
Alberta,
I always,
sponsor us.
I always travel outside of Canada, never within Canada.
Well, now it's the perfect political climate for you to travel in Canada. You know what? I don't know, but we don't like Danielle Smith at Premiere. We don't
ride with her.
Yeah, we don't ride with Danielle Smith.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ugh. So Kelvin Maure See, I wrote Kevin, but it's Kelvin. Kelvin. But it's like, I think it's also kind of cute not giving him the full respect. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he doesn't like deserve it. So you call him Kevin, I'll call him Melvin.
I actually love that solution. So Kelvin Maure was 29 and was convicted by Court of King's Bench Justice. Court of King's Bench. So that's in Alberta. You get it. That's their judge, their judicial system guy. Court of King's Bench Justice Stephen Mandziuk. The Court of King's Bench is the superior trial court for the province, hearing civil and criminal matters and appeals from decisions of the Court of Justice.
Okay. Gotcha.
That was very wordy. He was... Richard and Daisy are distracting. Thank you for being here, guys, for recording.
Yeah.
He was convinced... So the justice, Stephen, he was convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that Kelvin knew about at least some of the 1,200 plus files of child sex abuse material on his cell phones. That's cell phones with an S.
Oh my God.
So there were 1,200. Ugh, gross.
Oh God.
Ick.
Yeah.
The judge said it is possible for a file to be downloaded by accident, which is true.
Yeah.
But given the scope of evidence in this case, the number of actions that requires ignorance, mistake, or accident, it is not reasonable that the accused was unaware of the contraband on his devices.
Okay.
Like, there's no way you were like, what do you mean there's 1,200 CP?
Yeah.
You know what I
How
mean?
did that get on there?
Kelvin appeared by video from federal prison where he is serving time. So he was already in jail for weapons offenses, including possessing assault rifles and chemicals used to make homemade bombs.
Real nice.
So he was in jail for that when they found the child pornography
Oh my God.
on his devices.
It's like...
They were just like looking further into him. So now we're sort of gonna like go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
Because we have to get to know Kelvin.
I like the get to knowing, even though I hate them.
He's a piece of poo.
Yeah.
He's a piece of poo.
I like hearing the upbringing.
Yeah. Well, I don't have much on the upbringing.
Or like, you know what I mean? The before.
Yeah, the before. Well, we're starting. I don't know. Have you ever heard of 4chan?
No.
So 4chan was like a not messaging. Sorry, like a
Platform?
sort of like Reddit.
Okay. Yeah.
But
okay.
it was like...
I love Reddit also.
Yes, but the way it's organized is like if you go to 4chan, maybe it still exists.
I could look it up.
I will hold on. Okay, it still exists. Okay. There you go. So you can see all.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then you can click.
Oh, yeah.
and
There's
then
like
you
a whole
go
bunch
into-
of different like
Yes.
categories and stuff.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And you can talk about literally anything. So there was this user on 4chan called Moleman. Sorry. Moleman.
Moleman. Okay.
That was a funny Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Moleman.
Yes.
Which I just realized is quite funny. Mole is kind of close to his last name, Maure.
Maria.
Yeah. So Moleman was a user on 4chan where people are mostly anonymous. He was mostly an outlandish figure who liked to dig tunnels, shoot guns, and thumb his nose at authority. So like a typical... I don't want to say a typical
Just kind of...
anything. I take that back.
Yeah. Like he was just smuggy kind of...
Yeah. Unlike other users on the site, this guy made no secrets of his real life location. So a lot of people on 4chan, they make it a priority, like, because they post such outlandish stuff on the site, they don't want anybody knowing their true identity or address or anything, so that way they can't get doxxed. But this guy did not care.
He
was
care,
like,
yeah.
This is who I am. This is where I am. Come join me.
Yeah, okay.
So he would post alleged photos of himself and his friends at recognizable locations around Edmonton wearing camouflage and other military gear. And everyone should keep an eye on our social media. If you don't follow us on Instagram at Canadian Creepies,
yeah.
Because I do have photos of this that I will be posting.
Yeah. That's always a key a key source to have to put a, you know, like a picture to.
Yeah, there's a teaser for this episode that is one of his tunnels, like the opening to one of his tunnels. Yeah, so Kevin Melvin is an he's an alleged right-wing extremist. At the time of when he was posting on 4chan and active on 4chan, he was 26 years old.
Okay.
And when he was arrested, he was 26 years old. After the police turned up a cache of weapons and explosives in 2021. So in 2021, he was 26.
Okay.
Boom. Solved.
Bada bing,
we
bada
figured
boom.
it out.
Gotcha.
Kelvin faced 34 charges after an investigation by the RCMP's Alberta-based Integrated Security Enforcement Team, otherwise known as INSET.
Okay.
Police said their search turned up 7 prohibited weapons, including loaded assault-style rifles and materials for making explosives. And from the photos, it's like a lot.
Goodness.
It's a lot. He pled not guilty and had a trial in April of 2022. This bounces around a bit.
I wonder what his not guilt, I'm not guilty because.
Yeah, why are you not guilty?
Of being in possession of multiple
banned
weapons. Things, yeah.
Illegal weapons.
Yeah.
He was released on bail in late August of 2021. He was granted bail ahead of his trial. Okay. So his trial was April 2022, and he had been released on bail before that. He was in jail from February to August of 2021.
Okay.
Earlier, he had been denied jail by a provincial court judge. After a review, Court of Queen's Bench Justice Sterling Sanderman found the Crown failed to make a case for holding Kelvin and opted to release him with conditions.
Gotcha.
So they released him.
Okay, that's nice. How? My goodness. Knowing, I don't know how you release someone back into the public, knowing that something, it's not the chance of something happening or someone getting injured would be at 0%. So how can you how can you
risk?
Justify taking that risk is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. He said the Crown's concerns are valid but misplaced.
Okay.
And that there is no concrete evidence before the court that ties him inexorably to these beliefs or groups.
Nice.
To deny him bail based on these assertions would be wrong. It would be reminiscent of the overreaction of the McCarthy era of the early 1950s and to the unjustified fear of communist subversives.
Okay.
So just a wordy way for saying we're giving him bail.
Right.
At the time of the investigation, Kelvin shared a home with a man of the same surname.
Okay.
We don't know if that was his brother or his dad. We're not sure.
According
to police, Kelvin was active in online extremist and anti-government communities.
Okay.
So on the 4chan boards, he found the weapons communities, the anti-government communities, and he was like, here I am, let's create community and hang out. And he was actually successful. I'm going to tell you about, he does some stuff.
Okay.
Their investigation into Kelvin and a group of like-minded individuals began in September 2020. So ultimately, he's participating in these 4chan conversations, and that is when in September of, after some time in September of 2020 is when it catches, the eyes and ears of the police.
Okay.
When he was under surveillance, his activities escalated.
Of course.
Which is just
that's
really funny.
It is really funny.
Police say that in January 2021, he impersonated a police officer. He impersonated a police officer near Spruce Grove.
Okay.
Shout out to any listeners from Spruce Grove. Also,
I like that name.
Shout out to our listeners in Edmonton and Calgary.
Cool.
Then, on February 12th, 2021, He damaged an oil and gas facility.
That's nice.
Near Drayton Valley. And that facility belonged to Obsidian Energy. Okay. So that's like a huge corporation.
Wow, one dumbass.
So after doing that, he was arrested the following day.
Okay, that's great.
Fantastic. So it was because of that, I believe that was the event that got him arrested, and then, you know.
Not guilty because...
because, yeah. During the investigation, police seized weapons and paraphernalia allegedly belonging to Kelvin. They included 2 prohibited AK-style rifles.
Oh my God.
Silencers, a 9mm pistol, a significant amount of ammunition, and clothing similar to that worn by the RCMP.
Oh my God. Those were my friends.
Wow. Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. That was my brother or father who also lived here.
Yeah.
He also allegedly possessed a quantity of TATP, which is a high explosive used in the attacks, including the July 2005 bombings in London, England.
My God.
He was just holding on to it.
Alrighty
I hope he
then.
didn't smoke cigarettes.
Alrighty then. Yeah.
Alrighty then.
Mm-hmm.
Police did not initially say what specific ideology Kelvin allegedly ascribed to, but according to the judge's decision, his posts showed a potential association or fascination with extreme right-wing groups that have fascistic or neo-Nazi predilections. But he said he only has a potential association or fascination. He's saying he's not, the judge thinks he's just like, looks up to that kind of behavior. He doesn't think he's actually involved with it.
Okay.
But it's like, why not err on the side of caution and just like assume he is and send him to like a society reintegration program where you learn to not be a Nazi?
Well, you would
just an idea, just throwing it out there.
I mean, that's like a level-headed idea. Like, I don't get why someone in power that would have that power wouldn't think of something level-headed like that. Like, I don't get some of these decisions made by experts in their field.
Yeah.
When like we're everyday people and we're listening to it and we're like, I don't get what's going through.
It seems like so many things seem like,
oh my God, like you're
such simple solutions.
And they have the power. They're in a position
you have
to
the money.
make you.
You have the money.
Oh my God.
Get more than one counselor in a prison.
Like,
get some life skills coordinators into prisons. Like, and
how
you know,
can we figure this out?
I guarantee you volunteers of people would go into prisons to like work on like societally integrating people. Do you know what I mean?
1,000,000%. I don't actually get how like we can think of this, but like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, depending on the degree of the crime, I don't want to just say I'd like just be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not just going to walk into a room.
Yeah,
of
let's reiterate that. I mean,
I think everybody knows what I was saying.
Yeah,
though.
don't try,
especially when
it
comes like certainly.
I mean,
I would hope this day and age that anybody who committed a crime that came to marijuana has been pardoned and let out of jail.
Yeah, 100%.
You would hope those people are let out of the jail systems, but I don't know.
But
listeners,
it's like,
let us know if you know that.
It's like,
I could
if you know that they're a risk, if you know that they have a potential of reoffending, maybe don't just let them out with a slap on the wrist
and with no resources.
Yeah, and
no
without public knowledge. Like, you know, give maybe a heads up.
Yeah,
maybe they do, and I'm just talking shit right now.
No. Well, have you ever seen one?
No.
Well, so then they don't.
Agreed.
But they publish the drunk driving list.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
they publish the Wanted Wednesdays. Our local police have I don't want to give our local police a name.
Fair enough. But yeah, it's just bizarre sometimes. I'm like, I just don't get how.
It's bizarre. The Crown alleged Kelvin went by... So this is going back to the trial. Okay. The Crown alleged Kelvin... This does bounce around a bit because there wasn't... Like, typically I use a centralized website for all the information, but I was doing, like, actual research with this one.
Okay.
And, like, you know, looking into news articles and dating stuff and that sort of thing.
Fair enough.
So it sort of bounces around.
Yeah,
so
that's okay.
If you have any questions, like, just let me know and we can clear it up.
Oh, I have no problem cutting in and being like, what does that mean?
Right. The Crown alleged Kelvin went by the online alias Moleman, where that user posted at least one alleged image of themselves wearing fatigues and a balaclava next to an Edmonton police service officer on what appears to be White Avenue. What is White Avenue? Oh, White Avenue in Alberta. Look, it looks really nice.
Oh, yeah, it does. Super cute.
Super cute. We'd like to go there.
I'd
Somewhere
like
on
to
there,
go through
sponsor
there and
us.
shop
We'll
a little bit.
Yeah. Sponsor us.
Don't
and
mind
we'll
if
make
I
it
do.
there.
Yeah.
Tell us the best shops.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on. Sanderman said, that's the judge,
Okay.
in addition to the prohibited weapons, the Crown alleges Kelvin researched, because they looked at his computer, researched how to remediate firearms to make them fire fully automatic. So he was trying to like customize his guns basically and alter them so that way he wouldn't. I don't know the difference between semi-automatic and fully automatic, but it can't
I don't
be
either.
good.
No.
As well as the capability of certain explosives. So this is another thing he Googled. What is the capability of certain explosives and how they could be used to create chaos in the transmission of electrical power?
Nice.
So like in Alberta is like a lot of our oil and gas, and this guy was just going to fuck with it.
Get
I
him
bet
off
he's a
the
Trump
fucking
supporter,
street.
too.
Oh, man.
Fuck you,
Don't
Kelvin.
even get me started on that.
Yeah, get out of here.
Melvin.
Kelvin's lawyer, Robert Lavalley.
I really like that name.
I know, Robert Lavalley.
Yeah.
Robert Lavalley, like the hardest R's and L's.
I'm LaValley. Yes.
Lavalley.
Yeah.
Argued that the Crown... Okay, so Robert Lavalley argued that the Crown overstated to a considerable extent Kelvin's relationships with far-right groups. So again, the judge is like, I think
I'm
he's
not
just...
sure about that.
He doesn't think he's like walking the walk. He just thinks he's like, you know...
All right.
Sanderman said, the judge, he argues that his fascination with weaponry and a certain lifestyle is the sign of an immature role-playing young man who miscalculated enormously the seriousness of his conduct.
I mean, I could
Which would
understand
be such an
that.
insult.
Yeah. I mean, I could
Imagine if you were this guy.
Yeah, he's just
Role-playing.
Yeah, role-playing.
I built tunnels, sir.
Yeah, I dug them with my own hand. No, I don't know if he did, but I could see it from a perspective of like that outlook.
Yeah.
Like it's not completely out of line to say or think that could have been the case. I mean,
yeah,
there are naive young people out there that
just do stuff. And there are a lot of cases like the West Memphis 3, for example.
Yes.
In the case of the West Memphis 3, those kids, I don't remember their names, and I'm not going to get too into it.
No, it's fine.
But what I remember is those kids, when they were on trial, because they knew they were not guilty, because they knew they did not kill those little boys, and they were being accused of being Satanists, they just leaned into that. They were just pissed off little rebellious teenagers, like, fuck off, you think I'm a Satanist? I'll show you Satanist.
100%.
And then they played into that role, and they believed so heavily in the justice system. They were like, we did not commit this murder, we did not commit this crime, and they're saying we're these Satanist people, so yeah, we'll lean into that role, knowing full well that we didn't commit these crime, and we're gonna get off because we didn't commit the crimes.
100%.
And then they did get charged with murder. You know? So
Yeah.
there are many cases of, you know, especially younger people. When you're 26, your frontal lobe's not fully developed yet.
Right.
You're not till you're 27.
Yeah. Good point.
The judge also said the conduct is magnified when viewed through the lens of concern that all citizens should have in relation to the rise of neo-Nazi groups, consisting of violent young men, even in the most of established Western democracies. I need to understand that again.
Yeah.
The conduct is magnified when viewed through the lens of concern that all citizens should have in relation to... Okay, so he's saying the conduct of Kelvin seems bigger. Like, so him having these like far right ideals and having prohibited weapons, if you make the assumption without knowing concretely that he is a far right like he's a neo-Nazi,
Okay.
if you're looking at him through that lens, then it seems like his conduct is big, you know, the actions he's taking is bigger.
I got you.
And because everybody's, I'd say especially right now in time, more than ever, I think we're all a little fearful of the rise of neo-Nazis and white supremacy
I would say yes.
in our Western democracy.
Yes.
His lawyer, LaValle, argued there are issues with the police search warrants, which would be addressed at the trial in April of 2022.
Okay.
The judge agreed to the bail plan, and Kelvin was to reside under curfew at his mother's Edmonton apartment and could not leave unless he was accompanied by his mother or a court-ordered bail supervisor.
Okay.
Which, like, how embarrassing. You're 26.
Legit.
He is prohibited from accessing firearms and the internet. So
the internet probably is a good thing, and the firearms, obviously, but, like, not being able to...
Like, watch Netflix? Sucker.
Yeah.
You can't even watch your little right-wing shows.
Right?
Another Edmonton man...
But how would they know if he violated that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure his mom is probably like, you can use my phone, Kelvin.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, some ASMR tea sipping. It's Tetley. Earl Grey, vanilla.
Delicious.
Another Edmonton man acted as a surety and posted $1,500 cash. So that's all his bail was $1,500.
Wow.
So that was probably the man he was living with.
Ew, yeah.
And this bail hearing was the first time authorities have made the link between Kelvin and Moleman.
Okay.
Okay, that was a lot.
It's all right.
But we're continuing on. Since then, Post Media, who, you know who Post Media is? They're, just for anybody, it's like a media...
Oh, yeah, Post Media.
Post Media Network. It's a... This is funny. Post Media Network Canada Corp is a foreign-owned foreign-owned Canadian-based media conglomerate consisting of the publishing property. Okay, whatever it is, you understand. Everybody understands what it is. So Post Media, the lovely people who work at Post Media, some poor probably intern, most likely, had to search through all of Moleman's 4chan posts.
Oh my God.
And compile them.
I mean,
and present them in an entertaining way.
I would kind of like that job.
Right? It would just be a lot of like, So Post Media has reviewed dozens of posts from a 4chan user of the name Moleman.
Okay.
Which reveals something of the world of firepower, survivalism, and extremist views which attracted the attention of national security investigators.
Right.
Created in 2003, 4chan is built around anonymity, and unlike many message forums, users do not register... Wait. And unlike many message forums, users do not register a unique username. Hear all those U's?
Yes, my goodness.
That follows them around the site. So you can just, when you're posting on 4chan, you don't need to create a username at all. You can go to type something and make your name fuckface in one and write screw you, and then you can go over here and make your name Princess Powerpuff Girl, and then write I love sparkles.
Yeah, okay.
Many simply post as anonymous though. Maybe I lied. Maybe you can't change your name like that. But you can post anonymously, or you can choose to have it. You can get away with
a lot of hate speech if you wanted.
Yes.
Dang.
Yes, and that's
Yeah.
Many simply post as anonymous, though some choose a distinctive handle and a trip code, which is a unique identifier recognizable to those in the community. Post Media reviewed a variety of posts from a 4chan poster named Moleman, dating back to 2016, and all use the same trip code. So Moleman has the same trip code, which is connected IP address to Kelvin.
Okay.
And I suspect maybe through Kelvin's computer as well, maybe through his history. Post Media also provided copies of the posts to his lawyer, to Kelvin's lawyer, LaValle. And LaValle did not comment, which is very funny.
Yeah, that is fun.
Moleman frequently posted on the board K, which is 4chan's weapons and guns board. So if you want to talk weapons and guns, you find K, and then you go there.
Okay.
K users are known to meet in person, and Moleman and other Alberta posters appear to have done so on several occasions. So he's like straight up making community with these guys. They're meeting up. They're shooting guns. They're doing stuff.
Right.
They're taking pictures. They're posting pictures. It's their BFFs. They're loving it.
Yeah.
In late 2016, Moleman reached out to others in the Edmonton area for a group buy of tracer ammunition. He also posted about a winter meet featuring gunplay and an outdoor campaign in minus 30 degrees weather. That's Celsius for any Americans listening. It's very cold.
Very cold.
In December of 2018, Moleman posted a photo of another apparent meetup featuring 8 armed, masked men
Yeah.
and a goat named Doug,
My goodness.
which Moleman claimed they killed and ate.
Ugh.
So
Hate
gross.
them.
I hate that. I hate that. And it gets worse about Doug.
No.
He posted a photo of the goat's severed head as proof.
That's great.
Horrible.
Ugh.
Poor Doug's family.
Yeah.
One of the pieces, and it gets worse even.
No.
One of the pieces of the alleged police paraphernalia seized from Kelvin, so he had police paraphernalia that they took as well, is a tan shirt with an RCMP patch on the shoulder. The shirt also includes a patch from a seemingly fictitious military organization called Task Force 165 Doug's Darlings, which features a goat skull insignia.
Wow.
So these guys like killed and ate this goat and then called themselves Doug's Darlings and made an insignia.
Wild. My God.
Just think imagine if you spent that time learning how to be better humans.
That's what I mean.
You might have
like,
a girlfriend
or
a
like,
boyfriend. Imagine if you spent some time discovering
their
yourself
way of
and your
thinking
sexuality.
yeah, like exactly. Like you wonder like what else was going on in their heads if they were
Holy.
coming up with stuff like that.
What? Go to therapy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Even ask Richard here. He agrees.
Richard does agree. Probably because we haven't killed him and then turned his head into
Yeah,
an
and
insignia
then called
us
ourselves Richard's Darlings.
Or Richard's...
Angels.
No,
Richard, no.
another R.
Oh, yeah. Richard's radical riders.
Tudes. Yeah, Richard Radical
We
Riders.
ride for Richard.
We ride for Richard. We ride at
I mean,
dawn.
we could call ourselves that, though.
Yeah, triple R.
Yeah.
And then
And
we
I
go
would
to
support
protest.
it. Yeah. We're Richard's riders.
We are here for Richard.
Yeah,
We go to the States like to be part of like a women's rally, and we're
yeah.
like, we're here for Richard. They're like, what?
No, yeah, we're like,
No, that
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
No, we don't actually need that.
But then we're like, but look at this face. And then we show them a picture of Richard's
Like,
face. And they're like,
aw.
okay, wait, we take that back. We
Yeah.
get it.
And then they all turn into Richard's
Yeah,
riders.
riders.
Richard. And then Donald Trump gets like he gets
Butt
so
hurt over
threatened
it.
by
Yeah.
like Richard.
Richard.
He thinks it's a real man. And that's how we get him impeached and dead. Oh, can I say that?
Oh, that's awesome. Richard, you have no idea how radical cool you are.
Thanks for radicalizing us, Richard. Moleman also posted several alleged photos of himself at Edmonton landmarks.
Okay.
Most of the photos stem from an outing around Halloween 2016, which Moleman and 2 other men spent wearing military-style uniforms around the city. Moleman was CCing, which is an acronym for concealed carrying. So he was Moleman on Halloween if you were in Edmonton, Halloween 2016, and a man walked by you in military gear. He straight up had a real gun on him. And he was also nursing a hidden bottle of vodka. So he wasn't even buying beers at the establishments and supporting the local businesses. Moleman said that they told people, including the police, that they were GRU, which is a Russian military intelligence service. Which on Halloween, if somebody was like, "I'm a Russian military intelligence service," I'd be like, "Good costume, bro. Get out of my face,
like, loser.
Get out of my face."
Yeah. Daisy, get him.
They also said they were naval infantry living in Canada.
Okay.
Moleman said it was the best moment of my life. Pretending to be someone else, like he really did need therapy.
Yeah, 100% needed it.
In one photo of the outing, the 3 men, 2 of them with face-covering balaclavas, stand with an Edmonton police service officer on White Avenue. Later, they took photos at the Alberta legislature. which is probably like their law building.
Okay.
In one
Makes
shot,
sense.
right? But it's a cool name, the Alberta Legislature.
Yes.
In one shot, Daisy, oh my God, she took me with her.
There we go.
In one shot, 2 of the men squat by a peace officer vehicle, one of them with his middle fingers in the air. Like, it's Halloween. They're expecting you to do this. This doesn't make you hard.
Yeah.
At all.
No.
They also posed on the legislature steps. Moleman wrote, "The legislature is dangerously unprotected and undermanned. I knocked on the door for a minute trying to annex it and yelled, 'I'm here to take your country,' but no one showed up." Because it was Halloween.
Legit.
Moleman later posted an apparent photo of himself drinking from a bottle of vodka behind the legislature. In another photo, he stands in the same area with his balaclava on, holding what appears to be a handgun. Daisy girl.
Can you hear her?
Yeah. What do you have to say about Moleman,
Very
Daisy?
good input.
She's with her friend.
Yep.
We pump Daisy up before Allie comes over.
Yep.
We say, "Your friend's coming over."
Very good input. Very good. Employee of the day every day.
She's your best third co-host.
Yep.
In all the photos, his uniform has a distinctive green shoulder patch. Some the board, some of the users were critical of Moleman's night out.
Okay.
And they made fun of him. They said, "Going out with friends in gear for Halloween and interacting with people and the cops is cringy and try hard." I'm like, facts. One, Moleman responded with bravado. So his response was, and I'm going to do it. This is what I imagine his voice really sounds like. Ready? I don't see you walking up to cops from behind while in body armor and a balaclava with open alcohol on you. Just to stop them so you can get pictures or messing around the entire city and legislature.
Ugh.
He then attacked the author of the post and said, "Your crippling social autism prevents you from doing shit like that."
Wow.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
What a jerk. And it's like,
A for
it's
asshole.
more likely that Moleman is on the spectrum because he is
1,000,000%.
building tunnels under the ground.
1,000,000%.
Oh my God, I don't know if we can leave that in.
Okay.
No, we can leave it in because it could be a special interest. That's what I was implying, not anything bad, because
Yeah.
I'm not.
No.
I'm panicking.
You're
I'm panicking. Please don't ever think I mean anything bad or insulting, because I don't ever.
Unless it's about the actual.
Unless I'm.
But not about.
I feel like if I mean something bad or insulting, you'll know.
Yeah, you'll know.
You'll know. In response, another user agreed with the criticism and wrote, "You still come off as someone trying to prove something to everyone here." Which is like true.
Yeah, fair enough.
In addition to firearms, this next tab is called Underground. Like UNNA, ground.
I love it.
In addition to firearms, Moleman showed a fascination with digging.
Okay.
Yeah, we're finally into the digging.
Oh, the
now.
digging. Get ready to dig.
He regularly posted photos of a bunker-like excavation project and talking about life underground.
Okay.
The prosecutor told the court that police found essentially a bomb-making facility in a dugout in Kevin's yard.
Damn.
So he didn't really live underground.
No.
He just like had a big hole.
Ugh, I just wish he did live underground.
Same.
Yeah.
On April 15th, 2017, Moleman posted a photo of an underground entrance with a blast door. He wrote, "Moleman here with the first ever footage from inside my tunnel project. Join me as I dig my grave. Post underground memes, post your bunkers, etc." Mm-hmm. One of his tunnels was 12 feet deep with room for 2 people to sit inside. This guy just did dig. Like, he was a digger.
All right. Nothing wrong with that, but it's like everything else on top of it.
It's strange.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Absent from Moleman's posts reviewed by Post Media is any explicit neo-Nazi content, though the user is clearly concerned with race.
Fair enough.
In one 2017 post, Moleman said he was half French and half Slavic, and thus not even human, let alone white. I don't know what he means by that. Like, meaning he's like ultra white? I don't know, because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't get that. He also used racial slurs to attack other posters, which is awful. Don't do that.
Don't bully.
David Jones, a researcher with the Edmonton-based organization called For the Prevention of Violence, has reviewed Moleman's posts.
Okay.
He said, unlike many of the anonymous world in 4chan, Moleman seemed to seek notoriety. Some believed Moleman was actually a cop.
Okay.
Because he was so like, hey, look at me. Look at the
This is a
crazy
conspiracy
things
theory?
I'm doing. Yeah, some of the 4chan users thought he was a cop.
Okay.
He became really well known as Moleman on the page. And the user also didn't seem to mind posting photos of themselves, which some believed foolish. David Jones, which is funny, the name David Jones, because that's also David Bowie's real name was David Robert Jones.
Was it?
It was, and
I
then,
didn't know that.
but at the time when he was coming up, there was also the Monkees, the band the Monkees, and the lead singer of the Monkees was Davy Jones. So David Bowie
okay.
didn't want to be.
Oh, he didn't want to
also
be too
David
close.
Jones.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So Bowie it became. Some other users, including the ones who seemed to be in Alberta or in Western Canada, were deeply skeptical of him because he sought to de-anonymize his activity online and associate to one consistent poster.
Gotcha.
So they wanted to remain more underground, and he was trying to build a community.
Okay.
Several users posted news stories about his release. Some sought to find out who ratted on the user, while others blamed Moleman himself for what happened.
Right.
One user suggested anyone paying attention to people who post on weapons forums would quickly become attracted to a young man posting prohibited firearms and concerning messages.
Okay.
Kelvin also posted about infiltrating the Keep Hills power plant west of Edmonton. This guy, what do you mean you're infiltrating power plants?
Yeah, like I don't get his he
just wanted to create chaos.
Yeah,
That's all he wanted to
exactly.
do.
Like other than
like because he mused about blowing up the
he was all over the place.
Yeah, all over
Holy
the place.
Shit.
He mused about blowing up the Keep Hills power plant's transmissions towers, as
My
well
God.
as doing something to get more guns banned. So like, and I think when he says do something to get more guns banned, that's a reference to a Cole Polytechnique massacre because after that, guns were banned. Like a certain type of gun was banned. So he was trying to do something so significant. He wanted to do a mass shooting, which thank goodness they caught him before that.
Fuck yeah.
Thank Oz. He ultimately pleaded guilty in court to 8 of the 34 charges against him, and he apologized in court. He was also denied parole earlier that year.
Okay, that's good.
I mean,
Whatever
about his parole.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now we're going to go back to the CP.
Right.
So the child sex abuse material came to police attention after investigators seized Kelvin's devices during the national security investigation.
Okay.
A police analyst ultimately identified 1,193 images and 33 videos across Kelvin's 2 cell phones that constituted child pornography.
My goodness.
That's so many.
Ew.
Yeah.
Hate him.
Kelvin admitted the files were on his devices, but denied knowing they were there.
Sure.
Yeah, it's over 1,000, bud. You knew they were there.
I didn't
33
know.
videos. 33
Okay.
33 videos of...
Sure, buddy.
His defense lawyer, Jordan Tatosky, argued that the Crown had not proven Kelvin knowingly possessed the files. They were often contained in larger caches of other materials, sometimes compressed and labeled with nondescript file names, he said.
Okay.
Well, that's how you save things so nobody finds them, buddy.
Legit.
Crown prosecutor Craig Krieger said the sheer quantity of material made it unlikely that Kelvin didn't know about the images.
Yeah.
Like, how were you to not know? The abusive content was downloaded on 4 different dates from 3 different websites, and some of the content had been loaded into decompression software. And
I didn't know.
Yeah. And to that, the Crown said, no one is that unlucky.
Fair enough.
The judge concluded the Crown had proven its case. He said, I find it highly improbable that the accused inadvertently downloaded the contraband materials and was never aware of any of their contents. Guilt is the only reasonable inference from the evidence. However, the judge stopped short of concluding Kelvin knew about all 1,226 files. He found Kelvin did not know about 408 of the images which had been cached. It's like he cashed them himself, Judge.
Yeah.
The judge also said, I know that the number of files knowingly possessed by the accused is somewhere between 1 and 818. However, I cannot make a certain finding as to quantity.
Okay.
Bleh.
Yeah. Bleh. Bleh. Alrighty, and that wraps up the eerie tale of Kelvin Maure, Alberta's very own mole man. His story is a chilling reminder that sometimes the darkest secrets can be hidden right beneath our feet, underground, right there.
It's so unsettling to think about how his underground obsession turned into such a dangerous and bizarre situation. It really makes you wonder what other strange stories are lurking out there.
Speaking of strange stories, let's shift gears and dive into our current Canadian case. Right? Did I say that right? Current Canadian case.
Yeah. Where
we spotlight some of the latest and creepiest happenings in Canada. This week, we're talking about a case that's as chilling as it is recent. Sorry.
Stick around because you don't want to miss this one.
Let's get into it.
For this week's current case segment, we are revisiting one of the most polarizing events in recent Canadian history. And that would be the Freedom Convoy protests of 2022 and the subsequent trial of two key organizers, Tamara Lich, L-I-C-H, and Chris Barber.
Okay, interesting.
So a little about the Freedom Convoy. It began in January 2022 as a protest against COVID-19 vaccine mandates for cross-border truckers.
Yeah.
What started as a convoy of semi-trucks traveling to Ottawa quickly grew into a nationwide movement, drawing supporters who opposed various public health restrictions and government policies. By the time the convoy reached Ottawa, the city's downtown core had become paralyzed by the demonstration, which I am all for. I do have to say, I'm all for public demonstrations. I'm all for disrupting the norm to make change. I am absolutely all for that. And while I cannot say I'm fully in support of the Freedom Convoy and its messaging or its organizers, I do support a protest. And I do support everybody's right to protest. And what I do think yes, and that's what I want to leave it at. I support everybody's right to protest. For over 3 weeks, protesters blockaded streets with large vehicles, honked horns day and night, and set up makeshift camps in the heart of Ottawa. While I think there are people still there, aren't there?
Oh, I don't know.
I think and Polly Evero went and visited them.
Oh, God.
While some saw the protest as a grassroots stand for freedom, others, including many Ottawa residents, viewed it as a public nuisance and a threat to public safety. Businesses were forced to close, residents were subjected to constant noise, and tensions between the protesters and local authorities escalated. I mean, it's like, here's the thing, but I'm like playing devil's advocate to my own self when I say this right now.
Say it.
But like the Palestinian, but totally different. But this is so tough for me because I know so many people who were on the side of the convoy, and I do think when it came to the vaccines, there was not enough space left for people who did question them. I do think the people who did question them deserve to feel safe in that time, and there shouldn't have been so many people like yelling at everyone. Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
It shouldn't have been get your shot or else. There should have been space left for people to discuss it and talk about it, and I understand we were in a pandemic and it was like whatever.
We were trying to control and deal with it as soon as possible.
But we can't do that to each other. We cannot do that to each other.
It puts such a divide.
It puts such a divide. When you're scared, and I understand.
It still has. Like, it's still dividing people.
And I understand when we are operating out of fear, we are not using our rational brain. And it's completely normal and human when you're operating out of fear to want to control.
It's true.
Right? That's your first thing. You're going to want to control. You're fucking terrified. I get it. But you can't control other people. You cannot post your stuff on the internet, but you can't be yelling. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You just can't control other people. And I do feel in regards to the vaccines, there was not that space made for people who had questions, comments, concerns, people who were traditionally anti-medicine.
You either do it or don't do it, but if you don't do it, then you're not allowed to do this, or this. And I only agreed with, if you don't do it, you're not allowed to go into like a healthcare facility because...
Yeah. But because some people couldn't get the shot. They literally could not. So I looked at it from a more personal point of view. Like, if you got someone sick in the hospital or made it worse because you chose not to get the vaccine, but there was a potential chance that if you did get it, it could stop the spread or stop you personally from spreading it. Like, you don't have to get it, but if you chose not to get it, but then went into like somewhere like a hospital and got one of my loved ones sick, and you could have maybe prevented them from getting sick because you could have gotten the do you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been very pissed at that person and been like, you're not, anyways, it's such, this is what I mean. Well, I think that's the argument, but I think a lot of people work on hypotheticals.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
a lot of people work and I'm guilty of it too. We're all guilty of it. We work ourselves up. We have pretend arguments and pretend confrontations, and then we get into, and we get all this built up tension, and we often display, give that energy to the wrong place,
it's so
to the
true.
wrong person.
Yep, family member, it's just crazy.
All right, let's keep going.
Gucha.
I think we navigated that well.
We did.
The protests ended only after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau invoked the Emergencies Act for the first time in Canadian history. I did not know that. This unprecedented move granted the federal government temporary powers to freeze protesters' bank accounts, suspend vehicle insurance, and coordinate law enforcement to clear the blockades. The Emergencies Act became a flashpoint of its own, sparking heated debates about whether its use was justified.
Okay.
I wasn't in the situation. But the only thing, what for me, this is a tough one this is a tough current case to navigate, I think, because I don't want to be polarizing with it. You want to trust the leader of our country. I don't hate Justin Trudeau. I didn't vote for the man, but I don't hate him. And in general, I think he knows more than me about politics. And he did what he did.
He did what he did.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Don't need to create any hostility among our podcast.
Yeah, but I also do appreciate that the Emergencies Act was not called for any Palestine encampments.
True.
That was not enacted. And in fact, when I went to local Palestine protests, we were in, the police knew about it.
Yeah.
We worked together. The trial of Tamara Lick, I don't know, I'm just going to say Tamara.
Okay.
The trial of Tamara and Chris, which concluded on September 13th, 2024, focused on their leadership roles in organizing and sustaining the protest. Instead of putting these people into jail.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Give them some education. The Crown alleged that their actions went far beyond lawful protest and caused significant harm to Ottawa's residents and economy. Which I can get. I
get it.
If you're honking the horns all day and night.
Really annoying.
That is really annoying.
And it's kind of...
What do you do?
Yeah.
And if they're not leaving, what do you do?
It's a little disrespectful in my...
Yeah, especially it's if it was... Anyway.
In their... Exactly.
In their closing statement, prosecutors said... The Crown respectfully requests that the court find Mr. Barber and Ms. Litch guilty of all counts as charged.
Okay.
The defense argued that Tamara and Chris were exercising their rights to peaceful assembly and free expression. However, the case has prompted a broader discussion across Canada about the fine line between legitimate protest and public disruption. And I think that's the conversation we're having now, my friend. As of now, the court's verdict is pending, with a decision expected on March 12th, 2025.
Fair enough.
Regardless of the outcome, so hopefully March 12th, 2025, we remember and I update you.
Yeah.
If not, send us an email and I will update you. Regardless of the outcome, the Freedom Convoy protests remain a defining moment in Canadian history.
Wow. That was a wild time when they were going on.
Right?
Yeah.
It demonstrating how a single movement born out of frustration can ripple across a nation and leave a lasting political and social divides.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, if the Freedom Convoy can do it, us liberals, we can do it too.
We can do it too.
We can do it too.
We matter.
And by liberals, I don't mean the party. I just mean liberal thinking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
This case also ties into our broader theme today.
Okay.
Which is how unconventional actions, whether by an individual like the Alberta Moleman or a group like the Freedom Convoy, can deeply impact society.
Fair enough.
It raises the question, where do we draw the line between standing up for beliefs and crossing into chaos?
I like it.
Let us know your thoughts and stay tuned for more updates on this case and others shaping Canada today.
Great job.
And that brings us to the end of this week's episode of Canadian Creepies. We've explored the strange, unsettling world of the Alberta Moleman and taken a look at the ongoing legal saga surrounding the Freedom Convoy protests. It's been a wild mix of obsession, underground layers, and protests that shook a nation. Definitely a lot to unpack.
Yeah, whether it's someone digging themselves into literal darkness or a group shaking up the streets of Ottawa, it's incredible how much impact one person or a group can have when they take things to like maximum extremes.
Exactly. It's a reminder that sometimes the creepiest stories aren't just about what's lurking in the shadows, but about the choices people make in broad daylight. Speaking of, we want to thank you all for joining us this week. Your support keeps us going as we dig, hopefully not like Kelvin Maure, into Canada's strangest and spookiest tales.
Yeah, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram for updates and behind the scenes content. And if you've got a case suggestion or just want to say hi, send us an email at Canadian Creepies Podcast at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Honestly, we would really, really love it.
We would love that. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and
don't go digging too deep. Dig, 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 dig. Dig, 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 dig.
thank you to Kyle McDonald for editing and composing our theme song.